Today, we're going to get into the real science behind raising resilient kids. We're drawing on the incredible work of Dr. Justin Coulson to unpack a framework that you can actually use, one that helps our children not just get through life's challenges, but to really, truly thrive.
It's the question that I think keeps so many of us parents up at night, right? You see your child face some kind of setback, maybe a problem with a friend, a bad grade on a test, losing a game, and you just can't help but wonder, are they going to be okay? Why is it that some kids seem to almost enjoy a challenge while other kids just fall to pieces at the first sign of trouble?
And look, the stakes here are incredibly high. This isn't just about dealing with the small stuff. According to the Australian Bureau of Statistics, suicide is now responsible for a shocking 1/3 of all deaths for young people between 15 and 24. A third. That stat alone shows us that understanding and building resilience isn't just a nice idea, it is absolutely vital.
So what even is resilience, really? Well, one of the biggest myths out there is that you're either born with it or you're not. But all the research makes it super clear. Resilience is not some fixed trait, it's a skill. It's the ability to bounce back. And the best part is, it's something we can actively teach and help our kids develop. Honestly, you should think of it like a muscle. The more you work it, the stronger it gets.
Okay, so where do we start? Well, the first and, frankly, the most important pillar of resilience is building a solid foundation. And guess what? That foundation is not built by trying to make our kids tougher. It's built on connection.
I absolutely love this quote from L.R. Knost because it just completely flips that old-school parenting myth on its head. That whole toughen-up mentality, it doesn't actually prepare kids for a harsh world. More often than not, it just makes them feel like they're facing it completely alone.
And this slide really lays it all out, doesn't it? Let's just look at the contrast. When we tell a kid to just get over it, we're basically dismissing how they feel and pushing them away. Dr. Coulson's work shows this actually makes them more sensitive, more anxious. But when we offer a responsive connection, validating their feelings, giving them comfort, we build what he calls a secure nest. And that teaches them the single most important lesson of resilience. You are supported and you are not alone in this.
But, and this is a big but, connection doesn't mean we swing all the way to the other extreme. This idea of helicopter parenting, where we just swoop in and solve every little problem for our kids, is just as bad for resilience. It literally robs them of the chance to struggle, to fail, and most importantly, to learn that they can actually pick themselves back up. And this kind of over-involvement, it's been directly linked to higher rates of anxiety and depression in kids.
All right, so once we have that foundation of connection firmly in place, we can move on to the second pillar, what I like to call the internal software. This is all about how our children think, the way they process the world, and their place in it.
This brings us to a really cool psychological concept called attribution style. It sounds kind of academic, but it's simple. It's just the story we tell ourselves when something happens. And here's the key. It's not the event itself that makes or breaks our resilience. It's the meaning we decide to give it.
And the ABC model shows this perfectly. First, you have A, the adversity. The thing that happens, like failing a test. Next comes B, the belief. This is the story you tell yourself about it, like I'm just hopeless at math. And finally, you get C, the consequence. How you feel and what you do next, like wanting to quit altogether. The real magic, the place we can actually make a difference, is right there in the middle, at step B. That's where we can teach our kids to tell themselves a better, more resilient story.
And this plugs right into Carol Dweck's groundbreaking work on mindset. A kid with a fixed mindset thinks their abilities are just set in stone. So, failure feels like a final judgment on who they are. But a kid with a growth mindset, they believe they can get better with effort. For them, failure isn't a verdict. It's just feedback. It's a chance to learn. That tiny shift in belief from I can't do it to I can't do it yet, that is the engine of resilience.
Okay, that brings us to our third and final pillar, practice. So we've got the foundation of connection, we've got the right mindset, now it's about fostering a child's internal drive. And that means supporting their autonomy, not trying to control them.
We hear the word grit thrown around all the time these days, don't we? But Dr. Coulson makes such a critical point here. You can't force grit. True, deep, lasting perseverance, it comes from intrinsic motivation. It comes from wanting to do something for the pure joy of it, not because you're being pushed or bribed.
And let's be super clear here. Supporting autonomy is not the same as being permissive. It doesn't mean there are no rules, not at all. It means we explain the reason behind our rules. It means we offer choices whenever we can.
When a child understands the why and feels like they have some say in their own life, they start to truly internalize our values and develop that self-motivation that resilience is made of.
You know, a huge part of this in today's world is balancing screen time with what we can call green time. Screens often encourage just passive consumption and can be really isolating. But unstructured play, especially outdoors, that is where resilience is truly forged. It's all about active problem solving, real social connection, and just learning to deal with a little bit of risk and uncertainty. It's the ultimate training ground for bouncing back.
Okay, so let's pull all this together. Let's boil it all down into a simple toolkit you can start using, like today. What are the 3 essential steps for building a resilient child?
It's this simple. 1. Build connection. Be that safe, responsive nest for your child. 2. Foster a growth mindset. Teach them the power of the word yet, and help them see that their beliefs about what happens matter more than what actually happens. And 3. Support their autonomy. Give them choices, explain the why, and help them tap into their own internal drive.
And I want to leave you with this incredibly powerful thought from John McLean, an athlete who has faced down just unbelievable adversity. I had to teach myself not to believe everything I think. It's such a profound reminder that the stories we tell ourselves and the stories we teach our children to tell themselves are the very bedrock of a resilient life. So the question to leave with is this: what stories are you choosing to believe?